Hey everyone, this week on the Digital Marketing Scoop, I am talking with Sian Horn. This is the first in a three-part series we are doing on personal brand. So in this first episode, we're going to be defining personal brand, talking about the pros and cons of it versus building a traditional brand. Really hope you enjoy this episode, and thanks so much to Sian for joining me. Hope you enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop. I am absolutely delighted to have Sian Horn with me. Sian, very welcome.
I'm delighted to be here. You used my word, Mark. I always say delighted. It was like we swapped place there for a minute. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you again. We're just saying it's okay, we're distant, but it's the first time in the same room in like a year.
Oh God, at least. It's mad, isn't it? But it's so nice. This has been like my first week back out and about meeting people, and it just makes such a difference to see people face to face.
It is. It's brilliant. It's great to have you in back on the podcast after
Thank
so
you.
long.
Well, do you know what? I loved doing it last time. We had really good fun, and loads of people still reference it to me. So when you asked me to come back on, I was like, absolutely, new beginnings, let's go. Couldn't wait.
Brilliant altogether. So Sian, on this week's episode, we're going to be talking all about personal brand. So personal brand means different things to different people, I think. How would you define personal brand?
Absolutely. And actually, the first things that I want to hit on is it does mean different things to so many different people. And I know we had actually talked about this a long time ago in the first podcast that I did. And for me, first and foremost, and how I always thought about it is realistically, it's your reputation. So it's your authentic self. And because we're all unique, so you have to find the bits of you that are unique, and they won't suit everybody. And once you've done that, you put that across. But it has to come naturally. I don't think, a lot of people say, I want to create a brand for myself, Sian. And I'm like, how do you create yourself? God did that. Let's hope he did a sort of good job. It only really works properly if it is all about you, if it's your natural, authentic self. So for me, that's what it's about. I think there are plenty of brands, without a doubt, personal brands out there that have been tweaked and organised for a certain product range or, does that work for me? It doesn't really. For me, personal branding, true form, is your authentic self, reputation, realising what your skills and your uniqueness is and portraying that across.
Love it. I think you really hit the nail on the head with reputation. I always say it's trust. If you can build trust with your audience, that is your personal brand, and that's where your influence, I suppose, over time will come from once they gain that trust in you.
Yeah. Do you know what? Best advice ever: sleep at night.
Best advice ever, sleep at night.
Sleep at night. If you want people to trust you, you've got to be authentic, you've got to be real, and you've got to be true to everybody. And so you've got to be kind to people, and that lets you sleep at night. If you can do all of that, you're going to have a really good, authentic personality coming across. And if you can't do that, then personal branding is not for you.
Yeah, and I suppose when it comes to it, people with personal brand, the focus is definitely on video, obviously, because you're seeing the person. I think there are probably other ways to go about it, and we'll talk about that kind of later on as well. But it can be very daunting as well, I think, for people to, if they're like, okay, I know I need to do this, but to take that jump into putting themselves out there, putting themselves on camera, if you're starting from scratch to do that, that can be quite a leap.
Massive. So I always say to people, baby steps. So if you're not, nobody in the world ever said, oh, I love the way I look and the way I sound. That just didn't happen. It never happened to anybody. So I know myself, when I first started speaking on camera, and I actually started with Snapchat originally back in the days, and I was like, I never looked back on them. And then my sister would text me and go, oh my God, take that down. You look, and I go, I'm just not even going to look back on it. Or she was like, oh, you say this funny, or everybody teases me because I can't say the word favourite. I say favourite and not favourite because I can't say it, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm already seeing merch with favourite written across.
Well, do you know, actually, the funny thing was a girl texted me. So a print company recently texted me and said, I'd love to do 4 prints of things that you say. And I said, okay, well, I know I always say things like get it done. I just, and I always say be 100% unapologetically yourself. So important. And she was like, oh, I'd like to do like 4. And I said, well, what would you write? And she goes, oh, well, I've got to do hello, lovely. And I was like, do I say lovely? And she went, oh my God.
Do you what?
Yeah, do you not like? And I put it actually on Instagram and said, what things do I say? And hello, lovely was every other answer. And then I suddenly realised that's how I greet everybody. And I didn't ever know I did that.
Yeah. No, you definitely do. I'm sure you said it like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, but it's authentic. That's just what I say. But I also say it to myself too. And that's what, and that's something that is important to me is self-care, self-awareness and, loving thyself. And that's one of my businesses all about that. And so she did a print of me saying it to myself in the mirror.
Oh, deadly.
Yeah, stand tall, stand proud. So that's authentic.
Yeah.
There'd be no point in her putting up a saying, I don't know, something really moochy that I just wouldn't say. Do you know what I mean? And then putting my name to it. It would be ridiculous. No, it's got to, it has to be.
You'd notice it. It wouldn't connect with your audience, because it's not you. Yeah.
No, absolutely. So yeah, really, really important. But it's always really strange. So when you start, as I say, no one says, oh, I love my voice, I love the way I look. It just doesn't happen. I mean, I walked in here and went, have you got my good side? because my left side, we won't talk about that. But people are really conscious of themselves. And even if you're comfortable on camera, you're still going to be conscious. So baby steps to start. So what I do with a lot of my clients actually is we'll just start with a picture of them and use text over the top. What's that is doing is introducing them to their customer without them getting too scared. And they're getting information across, which is really, really important. And then we might do the picture with a voiceover. And that gets them used to because they're going to cringe for the first 20 times. Oh, my voice,
20.
my voice.
Yeah. I think we're on episode 130 or something here, and I still cringe every time I look at it.
Okay, 220 times. And then you start, doing voice. But I can't explain how important it is, especially the people that I work with are all SMEs. And your business is your baby, and your baby needs this.
Yeah.
So it's not a question of when should I do it, it's how do I do it? And you'll always find a way, but whether that's through, like I do now, accountability groups. And that's really the last 6 weeks, that's all we've been doing is getting people comfortable on camera. Now the girls can't shut up. I can't get them off. Do you know what I mean? They're amazing. But it just takes that thing of not feeling foolish, not listening, because actually no one's really watching and no one really cares.
At the end of the day, yeah. And I think you said it right. Do baby steps. Start off with something like stories. It's gone in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Get used to it. But you did hit on, I think, one really big point there, and that is, it's for your business. And I think people buy off people at the end of the day. Even the world's biggest corporations, like look at Apple. Everybody thinks of Tim Cook, Steve Jobs. You still think of the person behind the brand. I suppose that is one thing I want to ask you is the pros and cons of focusing on building a personal brand versus a business brand. Because when you're starting a business, do you want it to be built around your name, or do you want it built around a separate brand? I think that can be a big decision for people and which path to take. Yeah,
I think that is a huge decision, but I think it's one you make right at the beginning. So don't go opening the business and call it Sian Horn and then expect not to have to be visible.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
But that does happen, especially for a lot of people in the service industry. So a lot of people that are coaching people or offering a service, they might call the name of their business and then they'll go, but I'm not really the kind of person that wants to put myself out there, Sian.
That's a really good point.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, well, okay, then really, should we have called it your name?
Yeah.
And a good example, actually. So, 12 years ago, I had a big beautician salon in Donnybrook in Dublin, and it was called The Retreat, but it was Sian Horn's Retreat. Like, I was there, I was the face, I was front of house. I loved it. But if I was off, there would be a decrease in income. And I wasn't doing the treatments, I was front of house, but people booked just as much to have the catch up and the chats because that's where I lived.
Yeah.
So when I opened my next business and I knew that I wanted a chain in Elite Pilates, I was very conscious not to put my name on anything, not to have myself on all the pictures. It's always been all the staff in the pictures. People still knew that I was the owner of Elite Pilates because it's my passion, but I didn't forefront it. And one thing I did was have staff-led social media.
Yeah.
And that was a decision I made right at the beginning. Now my newest business is all about me and my beliefs and my love for business. It's called Sian Horn, so I've got to show up. It's as simple as that, But so yeah, you make that decision at the beginning, not once you've started.
I think you're dead right. I mean, and it can be very. You can, I think, down the line, if you've started with a brand name, let's say, start putting yourself out there more for your brand, obviously. But it's very tough to start with your own name and then decide, you know what, I'm not going to do anything to push it. So I think that is a really good point. So I suppose we've kind of defined what is personal brand.
Yes.
We're definitely in agreement on that anyway. Trust and reputation is key to it. So I suppose what I'd love to do is in the next episode, if we dive in onto how to build personal brand, because I'm sure that is what people really, really want to get their teeth into.
There you go.
So next episode, all about building personal brand.
Amazing.